The majority of people discuss focus as if it were a productivity trick. They provide you with routines, tools, and apps. However, true focus operates differently. Focus isn't about crossing things off a list. It has to do with control. It involves identifying what is important and eliminating everything else. Machiavelli recognized that. He didn't write about time management or goals. He discussed power. Furthermore, concentration is a type of power. The soft kind? No. The kind that is sharp. The kind that makes things bend. It alters how others perceive you. It alters your behavior. You don't do it, you become it. The majority of people don't fail because they lack strength or intelligence. Their dispersed energy is the reason they fail. They pursue too many things. They make an effort to please everyone, be everywhere, and do everything. It isn't focused. That is anarchy. You're not paying enough attention. Additionally, your power diminishes when your energy leaks. When your mind is racing, you can't create anything solid. Subtraction is the first step, not going overboard. No more hacks or tools, not as much. Quit making noise. Eliminate the choices. People who waste your time should be cut off. You don't have to be everywhere. Saying yes to everyone is not necessary. You must decide on one thing and stick with it. One ability, just one mission. There is one location where you can fully immerse yourself. Additionally, don't leave an escape route when you choose it. Avoid providing a backup for yourself. If focus comes with a backup plan, it isn't real. Consider it this way. Distraction is your enemy, not a little dispute, a conflict. No mercy then. You get rid of the things that divert you. You don't simply disregard them. You eliminate them. Take the app off. Disable the alerts. Establish and abide by rules. There are no exceptions. Focus like this isn't gentle. It's not about deep breathing and soothing music. It has to do with being risky, sharp, unambiguous. It says, I'm not available right now because I'm building something. It says, and really doing it. People will attempt to yank you back. They will ask you to be more adaptable, gregarious, and transparent. However, you're not here to win their approval. You're here to assume command. That means occasionally vanishing. Saying no when it's uncomfortable is part of that. This entails allowing others to sense your absence. And you don't give an explanation when they ask where you went. You simply arrive with outcomes. This is what true focus looks like. It has nothing to do with motivation. It involves making choices, cutting objects, taking it seriously, not loud, not dramatic, just serious. Because the world will consume your time and energy if you're not sincere. Each day, you must guard your focus as if it were your last asset. Because it is, in a sense. You can't create anything durable without it. You must quit treating focus like a pastime if you want to see significant change in your life. You can't just do it whenever you feel like it. It must be constructed like a weapon. It requires training each day, as if your future relied on it. Because it does. The first step in this process is to remove items. Most people are stuck because they won't cut things out, not because they can't concentrate. They want to do everything, be everything, say yes to everyone. However, you end up holding nothing when you attempt to hold on to everything. You should pose a more challenging query. What am I prepared to give up? You're not prepared to concentrate if the response is blank. You continue to pursue comfort. Comfort also inhibits growth. According to Machiavelli, a ruler ought to resemble a lion and a fox. The lion eliminates danger. The fox stays out of traps. Distraction is the trap for you. Too many options pose a threat. You are drawn away from the important things by every app, message, and little task. You don't require additional objectives. You require fewer. Choose the ones that genuinely advance your life. Put the rest away. Your energy isn't worth it if it doesn't further your goal. Increase the frequency of saying no. Not because I was angry, just some clarity. No, I will not be attending that meeting. No, I'm not going to answer the phone at this moment. No, I'm not trying to do 5 things at once. It isn't focused. Confusion is what that is. Refuse without feeling guilty. Most people find that part difficult. They do not wish to appear impolite. The fact is, though, that people will steal your time if you allow them to. Not because they're bad, simply because you permitted it. So don't let it. Everything around you begins to change when you concentrate on one thing. People pay attention. Around you, they move differently. You begin to gain momentum. But you have to be totally committed for it to work. Not halfway. Not a single step outside the door. Completely in. This is why dedication is important. Close all other doors once you've decided on a course. Don't promise yourself that you'll try or see how it goes. That is a weak way of thinking. You must make a choice. You must give it your all, as if your life depended on it. Since it does, this situation lacks equilibrium. Balance isn't the point of focus. It has to do with control. You have power over what you let into your life, authority over how you spend your time, control over your response to chaos in life. The world wants you to be preoccupied. It keeps you mediocre in this way. That's something you have to battle every day. You must treat your time as if it were precious, since it is. Begin by controlling only 3 hours each day. No one can get to you for 3 hours. No messages, no phone calls. There are no open tabs. The work and you alone. Include that window in your daily routine and protect it, similar to a wall, like a stronghold. Concentration isn't limited to work. It has to do with who you are becoming. And this is where it all begins. If you truly want to become someone stronger, respected, and in charge, being available at all times is seen as a positive trait, which is one reason why people remain stuck. It isn't. In actuality, it's a weakness. You're not in control if you're constantly online, responding, and reacting. All you're doing is reacting to whatever comes up. Being constantly distracted makes it impossible to concentrate. You lose some of your focus each time you check your phone, reply to every message, or scroll aimlessly. You don't immediately notice it. However, you feel exhausted and unfocused at the end of the day. That isn't a coincidence. Your energy is dispersed if you are constantly available. Furthermore, nothing solid is built by a disorganized mind. You need room to think. To delve deeply into something without being pulled away every 5 minutes, you need time. Silence is important because of this. Being unavailable for a portion of the day is therefore required. Not to be impolite, not to conceal, but to concentrate, to construct, to have a clear mind. If your phone controls your attention, you won't be able to accomplish anything significant. Reduce your notifications by 90%. The majority of them aren't assisting you. Set aside some time when your phone is off, your inbox is closed, and everything is silent. You'll accomplish more in a week if you can do that for a few hours each day. It goes beyond simply putting in more effort. It's about not being available when it matters most. Allow others to wonder where you are. Allow them to miss you. You don't have to give an explanation. Simply put in the effort. Pressure is created by this type of focus. Additionally, pressure is beneficial. You take things seriously when your name, your objective, or your word are on the line. You quit squandering time. You begin to move. Give yourself short deadlines. Share your work with others. Risk your reputation. You are compelled to act by that pressure. Not anytime soon. No later. Right now. No. It won't feel simple. It shouldn't. Concentration is uncomfortable. It's not pliable. It's not quiet. It is hostile. Every distraction vying for your time and attention is something you are fighting. Therefore, stop treating concentration as a kind of exercise. It's a battle. It's a choice to create your life rather than letting it happen. It's about pursuing your goals despite your mind's attempts to divert you. People will begin to perceive you differently if you train like this every day. Make noise, avoid attention, and perform under pressure. They'll understand that you mean business. They will be aware that you are creating something. You won't have to say it. They will sense it. Self-focus is a weapon. Machiavelli's coldest rule for mental power. This video will go deeper if you enjoyed what you've heard thus far. It demonstrates how Machiavelli's most severe teachings on focus and power are still relevant today in a matter of minutes. You'll discover how self-focus can help you develop true mental control, eliminate bad habits, and safeguard your energy. Like this, it's straightforward, incisive, and unambiguous. Watch it if you're serious about strengthening your inner strength. You'll see how effective focus turns into more than just discipline. It turns into power. Although most people claim to want to be focused, they don't live their lives in a way that encourages it. After a late night, they check their phones first thing in the morning, browse through the updates, and then question why the day seems disorganized. In actuality, their time dictates them, rather than the other way around. It takes effort to focus. You must make room for it. You must have structure. You need rules. Instead of winging it like a tourist, you should carefully plan your day. A visitor responds. A leader gives orders. That is the distinction. You will constantly struggle if your day is filled with sporadic tasks, unstructured time, and incessant noise. When the structure is weak, Even the strongest people fall short. You must create your own rules because the world is chaotic, not because you're trying to be flawless. Additionally, the world will pull you into its own system if you don't create your own. Start by planning your morning as if it were important. The tone of your day is established in the first hour. Keep it a secret. Keep your phone closed. Avoid making noise first. Rather, choose one important task and start working on it. Don't warm up. Don't wait. Just get started. Set aside a specific time for in-depth work and keep it safe. This gives you an advantage. You will outperform most if you work for even 2 hours in a clean, quiet, and concentrated manner. However, only if you protect it like a wall. No disruptions, no messages, not just one thing, only the labor. Create little routines around it, not too many, only a handful. Something that says, this is my time to focus. It might be occupying the same chair, putting on identical headphones, utilizing the same playlist. Even though they are small, they tell your brain, now we work. Being robotic is not the point here. It all comes down to being prepared. You should not wait for inspiration. In order to take action when the time comes, you should have a plan in place. Determining what doesn't require your time is another aspect of focus that is equally as significant as what does. You don't have to do everything. All you have to do is the few things that really count. The rest is extra. Most people make mistakes here. They continue to add more goals, additional apps, more concepts. However, adding doesn't increase focus. Subtraction is how it grows. Take the noise away. Cut the objectives. Do the one thing that genuinely makes a difference in your life. And when you do it fully. Don't be half-focused. No multitasking. Either you're in or you're not. Strong people operate in this manner. They create better systems, not because they are superior. They bring purpose into focus. They don't wish for it, they prepare for it. That's the change. From responding to creating, from wishing to constructing, from occupied to lucid, since clarity prevails, each and every time. The idea that concentration equates to increased productivity is among the most pervasive misconceptions. That is untrue. Focus entails doing less, but doing it with all of your might. The majority of people are simply busy. They try to keep up, move quickly, and switch between tasks. However, they don't pause to consider whether this is even the correct course of action. Even if you work all day, nothing will change. Even if you're exhausted, stressed, and burned out, you might still be completely off course, because it is pointless to exert effort without a goal. One wise choice is not equal to 100 actions. Real focus then becomes important. Doing isn't enough. It comes down to deciding what to do and what to ignore. This is how intelligent people think. They don't aim to be experts at everything. They focus on the one area, one habit, or one skill that yields the highest return. Everything else is blocked out. Not every idea is pursued by them. They repeatedly strike the one that counts. You can swing a sword 100 times and miss, or you can aim it once and make a huge difference. What is the most important thing in your life at the moment? Is it a project, a talent, a partnership? Select it. Then inquire as to what action I can take each day to advance it. You should concentrate on that. Your strike is that. The rest is just noise. Additionally, don't merely guess. Focus on the things that yield results. Which task makes the biggest difference? What time of day do you have the best clarity? What diverts your attention the most quickly? This has nothing to do with sentiments. It involves using a map-like perspective to observe oneself, because you can train your mind once you can track it. According to Machiavelli, great leaders don't take chances. They observe. They bide their time. Then they intentionally strike. You must follow suit. Take note of your patterns. Find out what works. Next, double down. This isn't a profound self-help concept. This is useful. Power is created in this way. Without understanding where and why you focus your attention, it is impossible to create anything solid. The majority of people go through life without consulting a map. Avoid being like them. Remain alert. Keep an eye on yourself. Eliminate the things that are slowing you down. Do more once you've discovered what works. Not for a day, not for a week. However, until it becomes instinctive, that's how power comes from focus. Your lack of talent isn't the reason you're stuck. You're stuck because your attention is leaking. Everything changes if you fix that. If you know where to look, you can see in this video how even the slightest change in focus can have the greatest impact. Continue to observe. You have a strong mind. It's simply being pulled in too many different directions. You lose some of your power each time you become sidetracked. Not all at once, gradually. And that's what makes it risky. It goes unnoticed by you. However, by the end of the week, you've veered off course and are unable to provide an explanation. The majority of that distraction originates internally. It originates within you. Thoughts, desires, uncertainty, and boredom can appear suddenly. They mutter things like, "You're not ready yet," "Take a break," or "Just check your phone." Additionally, you train yourself to become distracted if you listen to it all the time. In actuality, the outside world isn't your greatest threat. It's the aspect of you that stays away from difficult situations. That voice that says it's okay to browse for a short while, or put off the task until later, or that perhaps your objective is too lofty. The true enemy is that voice. You must learn to cope with it, not in a nice way, under control. Pull your thoughts back when they stray. Don't inquire as to why. Avoid negotiating. Simply return to your work. Additionally, reward yourself when you resist. That is, when you ignore the urge and remain focused. Even in a tiny manner, your brain is being trained to maintain focus. It takes time to do this. It requires practice. However, it functions. Construct basic systems, items that shield you from your vulnerabilities. Avoid using willpower. Follow the rules. Organize your area to encourage concentration. Make your desk clear. Switch off every alert. Block websites that waste your time. Make it more difficult to lose focus than to maintain it. You don't need to be flawless. All you have to do is maintain control. Imagine that you are constructing a mental fortress, a location where nothing enters unless you let it, where you retain your energy, where your ideas come to you, not the other way around. But it takes work to build that fortress. You must keep an eye out for cracks. The leaks must be fixed. Additionally, you must maintain the guard's sharpness. That entails being aware of your distractions. Observing the patterns is necessary for that. When do you drift the most during the day? Which apps captivate you? Which thoughts are recurring? You will notice the pattern if you begin to pay attention. You can break it once you see it. People develop their strength in this way, not by doing everything perfectly, but by recognizing the issues and making quick adjustments. Focus is not destroyed by a single slip. Ignoring the slip, however, does. Don't try to be a robot then. Simply be honest with yourself. Sometimes you will make mistakes. It's okay. How quickly you return is what counts. Just one awful hour? No issue. Don't let it become a bad day though. Always get back to the task at hand, because the individual who has the ability to reset quickly becomes unstoppable. Feeling busy without making any progress is easy. Many people mistake motion for movement. They stay exhausted and do 100 little things, but they know in their hearts that none of it matters. It isn't focused. It's noise. Asking a better question is necessary if you want to make genuine progress. What is the one thing that will eliminate the need for or make everything else easier? Your leverage point is that. You should focus on that first. Machiavelli recognized this. He made no effort to exert control over everything. He concentrated on the few most powerful individuals, the generals, the bankers, the aristocrats, because he was aware that he could control the system if he could control them. In your own life, you must have the same mindset. What is the one ability that will lead to the most opportunities? Which one habit alters the course of your entire day? Which task advances your goal the quickest? Spend less time on low-return tasks. If the foundation is weak, don't clean up the edges. Locate the important task. Start with that. It might be writing, it might be training, it might be education. Whatever it is though, you should treat it as though it were the most significant job you have ever had, because it is. Avoiding distractions is only one aspect of focus. It all comes down to aiming correctly. You don't want to put in a lot of effort and wind up in the wrong position. Most people experience that. They keep themselves occupied with seemingly urgent but unimportant tasks. Examine your own life. Are you devoting hours to activities that don't advance you but feel safe? Are you avoiding the one difficult but essential task? Focus entails completing the most important tasks, even if they are uncomfortable, particularly when it's uncomfortable, and you need clarity to do that effectively. You must be aware of your daily goals. That does not entail putting 10 goals in writing. It entails realizing when you wake up, this is the one thing I have to do today. The rest is incidental. Make it easy. Just one mission, one objective, one thing at a time. If you're disorganized, you can't win. Being clear and consistent helps you win. Don't worry about how fast you move. Consider your destination. Running in circles is not as good as taking a slow step in the right direction. You should ask yourself, did I get any closer to what really matters today? You're winning if the response is yes. Something must change if the response is negative. Doing everything is not the goal of focus. It all comes down to knowing what not to do and having the self-control to let it go. The majority of people don't fail because they didn't try. They failed because their aim was incorrect. Avoid becoming one of them. The majority of people are unaware of how much junk they feed their brains. They watch, listen, and scroll through content that is completely useless to them. They initially believe it to be innocuous, but it gradually alters their perspective. Without even recognizing it, it weakens them. If your mind is constantly racing, it will be impossible to concentrate. You must consider your attention to be a finite resource. Since that's what it is, you can only have so much of it every day, and it's gone once it's gone. So, where are you spending it? Examine your diet first. Everything. Videos, chats, apps, messages, not just food. Are they boosting your confidence or simply squandering your time? You don't have to be flawless. However, you must be conscious. Something is most likely not helping you if it is causing you to feel exhausted, nervous, or distracted. Furthermore, it has no place in your day if it isn't assisting you. This entails using social media with caution. This entails reducing the amount of time spent on poor content. Saying no to meaningless conversations is part of that. Your focus is too vital to be wasted, not because you're superior to others. Cutting everything at once is not necessary. Simply begin to be truthful with yourself. After consuming something, take note of your feelings. Do you feel more concentrated now or more hazy? Make your brain crave the things that make it sharper. Read material that inspires you. Watch content that teaches you something. Speak with people who will help you advance, not hinder you. It takes time. Your mind, however, begins to reject the junk on its own once it becomes accustomed to receiving high-quality input. You'll know you're headed in the right direction at that point. It's also important to test what works for you. Everybody is unique. Early in the morning is when some people are most focused. Some people perform better at night. Some people require quiet. For others, background music works better. You must experiment and observe the outcomes. Which foods give you consistent energy? What type of environment helps you concentrate? Which breaks aid in your ability to reset? This is not a guessing game. Testing is the key. Try, modify, and continue to get better. The majority of people merely attempt to get through the day. However, you develop quickly if you view every day as a training ground from which you can learn and get better. You begin to develop your ability to focus, similar to a muscle, and everything changes when you have that, because you can control your future when you can control your focus. You quit squandering time. You quit doubting yourself. You begin construction, day by day, step by step, and that's where genuine change starts. You can't rely on emotions if you want to maintain your focus over time. Motivation wanes, energy fluctuates. There are difficult days, there are noisy days. That is typical. How you maintain your composure throughout it all is what counts. Most people lose focus because they don't know how to keep it safe, not because they're lazy. They allow their feelings to rule them. After a small setback, a rude message, or a missed objective, they can find themselves hours or days off course. Emotional regulation is therefore a component of focus. If everything throws you off balance, it's impossible to stay focused. You must teach yourself to remain composed in the face of adversity, not numb. Simply be steady. Pause if someone offends you. Do not respond immediately. Count to 10. Give the sensation in your mind a name. Anger is that. It's unfortunate. That's fear. After that, let it go. Don't let it dictate your next course of action. Being cold isn't the point here. It's about maintaining control, because you lose focus when your feelings dictate how you behave. Additionally, watch who you spend time with. Distraction is just as contagious as focus. You will pick up negative traits from those who waste time, whine constantly, or make fun of your objectives. Regardless of how powerful you believe yourself to be, a large group is not necessary. All you need are a few purpose-driven individuals. Those who receive it, people who help you achieve your goals without getting in the way. It's also acceptable to walk by yourself for a while if you are unable to locate them immediately. Sometimes that's when you become most focused. And here's something else. You will not succeed. You will become sidetracked. Time will be wasted. You will occasionally veer off course. It's a step in the process. Don't exaggerate it. You don't have to lose everything after one bad day. How quickly you return is what counts. Restart, rise, restart. Don't wait for the ideal opportunity. Simply go back to your work. It can take weeks for some people to recover. Hours are what you want to take. That's the difference. Remember the big picture. Zoom out. What are you constructing? What sort of existence are you fostering? Make decisions based on that. Allow that to influence your day, because it's easier to say no to things that don't fit when you know where you're going. The video ends here, but the real work is just getting started. You now know that concentration is more than just feeling calm and closing your eyes. It's about creating systems, reducing noise, safeguarding your time, and remaining composed under duress. Everything changes if you make this a part of who you are. You don't need to strive for achievement. You simply put in the effort, show up each day, and let your deeds speak for themselves. And eventually, people will take notice. You'll see. And you end up living the life you had hoped for. Make sure to subscribe if this improved your ability to concentrate or think clearly. There will be more soon. Additionally, if you haven't already, watch the suggested video. Self-focus is a weapon. Machiavelli's coldest rule for mental power. It delves even further into the topic of developing mental self-control in a noisy environment. It will be helpful to you. Additionally, if this was valuable to you, click the like button. You won't believe how much it helps. Since focus is uncommon, you're already ahead of most people if you're developing it. Continue. Most people would never do what you're doing.